Rev up your engines. Okay, everybody knows I don't like Hyundais. Well, here's something that is definitely the exception to the rule. It's a Hyundai Azera. This thing has over 200,000 miles. The guy bought it used, 80,000 miles 5 years ago for $2,000. Hasn't put much money in it, and yes, it still runs fine and doesn't burn oil. Well, how can that happen? Look at the car. It's kind of interesting. The dent came pre-dented. He paid $2,000 car. It had a dent. He didn't put any new dents on. But it's the same color, and it looks quite a bit like my wife's Lexus. It even has fancy alloy wheels on it. And it is the best made of Hyundais. It's made in Korea. You can tell they're copying Lexus. It's got the same wood grain like my wife's Lexus. Leather seats, same kind of gear shift. They really made it look like a Lexus. He's like me. He took the beauty cover up and threw it away because mice live around here in Massachusetts. Gets cold, right? It is a V6 engine. Doesn't burn any oil. It's got a timing chain. You don't have to think about a belt going on it. 26 miles a gallon. Not bad for a car this heavy. It rides it well with a V6. That's exactly what my wife's Lexus gets. And he gets maybe 18 in town, which is what the Lexus gets. It's actually a very similar car. You can see that Hyundai was obviously studying it, considering that the paint's the same color as my wife's car. I saw him driving here, and I thought, oh, well, that can't be a Hyundai, but it was him bringing the car over because it is a nice-looking car. And you can see, he didn't buy it new now. He only paid $2,000 for it, but he's put 80,000 miles in 5 years. Didn't have to do hardly anything to the stupid thing. It is a well-made car. It's not a Turbo 4. It's not GDI. It's conventional fuel injections. These things are actually quite well made. Maruna, like I said, is made in Korea. The ones they made in the United States, well, they say, well, you know, our machines didn't work too good and the timing chains broke, the engines blew up. That didn't happen to these V6s that were made in Korea. They actually did a really good job building these things. It's like every other company. If they start in one area, Volkswagen in Germany, Toyota in Japan, then they start moving to other countries making their cars. It's usually quite a bit down. For example, the same guy had a 2012 Santa Fe at 60-something thousand miles. The engine seized. Yes, and here's this old one with a V6 instead of a 4, and what's it doing? It still runs like a clock. Now, if you go back in time, maybe buy 3 or 4 of these with your time machine, they'll last. I wouldn't advise buying a new one. Their quality isn't that good. They have much higher technology, a lot of turbocharging. This is naturally aspirated, just like my wife's Lexus. There's no extra pressure. 201,000 miles, doesn't burn oil. That proof is in the pudding. And as we go inside, I mean, even the mirrors look like my wife's Lexus. They should give them out of copyright infringement. We'll close the door, see if it sounds like a Lexus. And it does. It's solid as can be. Got a nice big shifter here, big armrest. The leather seats are still in excellent shape. Lots of room in the back. Got the obligatory sunroof that fancy cars have. I hate them, but what can you do? I see a difference. It doesn't have a cassette player. Well, my wife's Lexus has a cassette player too. This looks just like the Lexus. Even the clock looks exactly the same. And it's old, so it's got a key. Hooray. Let's start it up. Starts right up. And even the gauges look like my wife's Lexus. They've stolen everything. There's the parking brake. You step on it with your foot. It's not electronic. It's a regular parking brake. We'll put it on because we're going to do some testing. Now, I noticed the TPMS light is on, but who really cares? Computer will figure that out. Probably the sensors are gone. It's an older car, right? The batteries wear out, so who cares about that? Gauges for your tire pressure cost $10. Get one of those. Check it yourself. Hey, we'll put it in gear. Smooth as can be, and if you want, look, you can shift it manually, too. Whee, look. Here we go. 1, 2. And it won't go past 2 because we're not going fast enough. Once you get going, you can make it all the way to 5 gear if you want, but let's face it, Americans are lazy. You're going to put it in drive and leave it there. Inside the trunk, look how deep it is. And it has a little opening. It's an exact copy of my wife's Lexus. It even sounds the same. They both have license plates that rattles because there's no bolts on the bottom. Now we got our big hotel computer out here. We'll do diagnostics. Okay, we'll do standalone diagnosis. Here we go. Read the VIN. Look how fast it read the VIN. Nobody can do a topology scan, so here goes the scan. Away we go. and we'll look. They even copied the Lexus electric window setup. It's got the door lock and the windows and a mirror adjuster in the same place. I saw that they took pictures of the Lexus and made a copy of it, but they did a pretty good job copying. Everything's running fine. Now, it is a Hyundai, so I expect to find some codes. Now, I did find 20 trouble codes, but as you can see here, 12 of them are the TPMS system. They certainly have things like the batteries aren't working. We'll do the trouble codes and see what it says. Sensor battery low, receiver battery low, frequency channel failure. So, we don't care about that. We know that's not working, so we will go back and look at the other ones. 4 ABS codes, but of course the ABS works off a lot of that too, so let's see what those codes are. Battery voltage low, got an AC code. That would be probably some crazy sensor or something. We'll look at the trouble codes. He knows the right actuator door's not working, and sure enough, door mix motor's not working, so he already knows that. It blows cold on him when he's driving, so he doesn't care. There's an airbag code. Let's see what the stupid airbag code is. There's a history of battery voltage low, so we'll erase that because he has replaced the battery and alternator on it in the past. Someone just didn't reset the computer. Driver's door module. Let's see what that is. Driver's door is active. Outside mirror, left horizontal motor or sensor error. Well, you can see when you look out the mirror, so who cares? And last but maybe least, it has a code for assist door module. Here comes a trouble code for the assist door module, and it says outside mirror, right horizontal motor sensor, same code. So none of it means anything. We'll start her up. And we'll start looking at some live data. Live engine data. We'll see what shape the engine is in. As usual, black's good, red's bad. We'll start looking at it. Battery voltage 14, that's good. Airflow rate is good. There's a lot of information for an old car. It even shows you have 86.27% of the fuel left. Now that's pretty accurate. Injector on time are all perfect. Shows you all the data. Long-term and short-term fuel is only 1%. Not bad for someone with 200,000 miles. It's only adding 1% fuel. So it's running 1% lean, which is actually better. You get better gas mods that way. So I wouldn't touch it. I wouldn't even bother cleaning the thing. Because if you clean them, they'll generally run a little bit richer and you probably get worse gas mods. It's all the electronic throttle, adaptations, misfire counters, all zeros. It's not misfiring at all. Wondering about the transmission, so we'll go back in time here and we'll look at the automatic transmission data. He's saying oh in the background. I don't know, I haven't driven it yet, so I can't say. I'll know after I drive it too. Here we go. So far everything's black. Hoodie's normal. There's no red data yet whatsoever. No, everything's fine. So it's time to take it for a road test. There we go on a road test. Really, just like my wife's Lexus. Kind of looks exactly the same. No backup camera, just like my wife, so we gotta look out the mirror while we were backing up. Said before, this baby idles smooth as my wife's Lexus. It seems to be a really well-made car. Shame Hyundai doesn't build them like this anymore. We're going over the lump slow because it's a relatively low car. Now, this thing is old. We'll go over these bumpy roads, and really, it still rides pretty good. And it's got the original struts. Now I can hear the struts with a little bouncy noise, because yeah, they're worn. It's an old car, 200,000 miles, but it still rides pretty good. It's 5-speed automatic transmission, so we'll put it through its paces up here. We get up to the hill. So far, it feels really smooth. And it's morning work traffic. Nobody's coming there. Everybody's coming the other way. We got an opening soon. Here we go. We'll give it some gas. Woo, it's a lot faster than my wife's Lexus. Man, this baby gets up and goes. 200,000 miles, I'd never think it. They really improved the acceleration compared to the Lexus. They may have copied the style and the design, but boy, this thing goes like a scalded ape. Corner's perfectly fine. Lots of room, comfy leather seats that aren't ripped even though they're pushing 20 years old. And yeah, if you didn't like the noise it's making when you hit bumps, you'd put new struts on it. Then it would stop the clunking, because they are worn, but hey, track's good, doesn't really corner sloppy. Right till the traffic goes by. This thing's still got a lot of life left in it. And while we're at it, check out the beautiful New England foliage. There it is. Hey, I'm impressed. It's still beautiful inside and out except for the dent up front. And it came with a dent. He got it from relatives and they put the dent in. He didn't put that dent in. I'll roll the window down, get a little bit of air. Of course, all the power windows still work. A pleasant driving experience. And all this in a Hyundai. I'm shocked. This thing's still running so good. not burning oil. So here we go, a Hyundai that Scotty likes. Well, the owner just said, it's the gift that keeps on giving. He got it for $2,000 from a relative, other than having that ding in the front, and the struts being a little worn and bouncy, make a little bit of noise. It's totally handleable, so I wouldn't even bother doing it. My wife's Lexus does that a little, not as much, but a little bit. I'm not gonna put new struts on it, I'm too lazy. It rides good enough for what we use it for. A Hyundai with a V6, when they made good cars with no turbos, timing chain engine. The engine, not only did it not blow up, it doesn't burn oil either. You can find one like this. He's got 80,000 miles out of his $2,000 investment, and it still runs perfectly fine. You would never get that out of a modern Hyundai when it gets older. Never, never, ever. But this old one, hey, since they copied just about everything from Lexus, I gotta say, hey Hyundai, you did a pretty good job copying Lexus on this one. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.